Welcome to UX Movement TV. Today I'm going to show you how to design and optimize a sidebar menu so that users can navigate your desktop apps faster and easier. There are 4 usability areas to keep in mind whenever you design a navigation. The first one is recognition. This is where users can recognize items at a glance without needing to read and think about the item labels. Then there's touchability. This is where users can touch their targets accurately without accidentally hitting the wrong one. Then there's scannability. This is where users can scan a long list of items in chunks instead of scanning it item by item. Lastly, you have screen space. This is where users can focus on an area of the screen and find what they're looking for without any visual clutter. Now let's design a sidebar menu and optimize it for these 4 usability areas. Let's start off with a desktop canvas and let's drag and drop a sidebar component onto this canvas. I will be using a UI kit for Figma called Optimal UI that allows me to design intuitive interfaces much faster. I will leave a link in the description below if you want to get the UI kit. So we have our item list here. Now let's give each item a label. The first one will be dashboard. The second one will be reports. Then documents, payments, messages, help, and settings. Now this list isn't optimized for recognition. What this means is that users have to read each label and think about what it means before they can make a selection. As a result, there's a lot of lag time between cognition and interaction. To reduce this lag time, we have to add icons that visually represent each item. So for dashboard, let's use the home icon. For reports, we can use stats. For documents, we can use the file icon. For payments, we can use the credit card icon. For messages, we can use speech bubbles. For help, the question mark icon. And settings, the cog icon. Now, when users are trying to make a selection, they not only have the label, but they have icons that visually confirm their selection. This gives them certainty when they make a selection, and it reduces the lag time between interaction and cognition. The more they use this menu, the easier it is for them to navigate. It'll get to a point where they don't even need the label to navigate, and you can create a collapsible sidebar that hides the labels and allows them to navigate visually. Now let's optimize this item list for touchability. So, if these items were packed close together like this, it's going to be harder for users to hit their targets because there's not as much spacing between each item. So, when users aren't paying attention, they're distracted, or have a habit of clicking very fast, they can easily miss their target and hit an adjacent item above or below it. To reduce this error, we have to give more spacing between each item. Now the target size for each item is much larger, so if they were to not pay attention or click very fast, there's more of a chance that they'll hit their item accurately. So we've optimized this sidebar for recognition and touchability. Now let's optimize it for scannability. To do this, we have to drag and drop a sidebar variant that has categorical groupings. So with categorical groupings, let's just go ahead and add the items back in, but this time we are going to group them. We have documents, payments, messages, then we have help and settings. And for good measure, let's just go ahead and add icons back in. Home, we have stats, we have the file icon, then we have payment, messages, help, and then settings. So now that they're grouped, we need to add category titles that represent each group. So a title for this one can be analytics. For these items, business, and for these, support. Now when users are looking for an item on this list, they don't have to scan the entire list. All they need to do is go to the section that represents those items. So for example, if users are looking for a business item, they don't need to scan any of the items in analytics or support. All they need to do is go directly to the business section of the sidebar and scan there. The more they use this menu, it's going to be easier for them to navigate because they're going to have a good idea about where each section is. So for example, the more they use it, they're going to know that support will always be at the end of the list, so they can naturally gravitate towards that area instead of scanning the entire list to find a support item. So we optimize this for scannability. Now let's optimize it for screen space. So with this sidebar, it's missing a couple things. There's the search bar and the user account options. Most designers like to place those elements in a top navigation, like so. And that's fine, and it's nothing wrong with that. But if you have a secondary navigation that's at the top as well, you can create a lot of visual clutter that makes it difficult for users to navigate between primary and secondary items. So to demonstrate, let's go ahead and let's just say the user selected the documents item. And now let's put a documents page title. Let's put a documents page title here. And then let's go ahead and add some tabs for the secondary navigation here. And let's stretch this out, span the width. And so what you have here is a lot of clutter at the top. You have the search bar, you have the user account options, and then you have the secondary navigation and the page title. So there's a lot of visual competition in this area. What we want to do is remove the clutter so that users can navigate the secondary items a lot easier. So let's go ahead and remove this bar and place the search and user account options in the sidebar. And then let's go ahead and move the secondary navigation to the top. Now, when users are navigating between primary and secondary items, there's not as much visual clutter in the top area. They can navigate these tabs without any interference from the search or account options. This is the end result of optimizing a sidebar menu for recognition, touchability, scannability, and screen space. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe below.